What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Lance, back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the very strange controversy that seems to be currently surrounding Final Fantasy 16. That is right, Final Fantasy 16, which is Square Enix's latest title, that's going to be dropping later on in 2023, seems to be under some extreme hot water based on an interview question that Naoki Yoshida, who's the director for the game, ended up answering. Quick little background on the game. Final Fantasy 16 is, again, the latest title that's going to be coming out in the Final Fantasy series, and this game is based on the fictional realm of Valistea, where there are currently two factions that are at war. Now, this interview stemmed from the fact that in the latest story trailer for the game, everyone who was in the trailers was of a noticeable complexion. And the interviewer ended up asking Naoki Yoshida a question about diversity and why it was that there was a lack of other kind of complexions and shades of people in the game. And to that, Naoki Yoshida gave this as his response. Ultimately, we felt that while incorporating ethnic diversity into Valistea was important, an over-incorporation into this single corner of a much larger world could end up causing a violation of those narrative boundaries we originally set for ourselves. The story we are telling is fantasy, yes, but it is also rooted in reality. Do remember, this is a rough translation. After all, Naoki Yoshida speaks Japanese primarily, so usually they have someone who ends up translating this for them. So whenever it comes to these types of interviews, I always have to keep in mind that these people have a different way of describing things. So to them, the way they think and the way they describe things is not going to come off necessarily the exact way that we would have necessarily described it ourselves. But based on that description that he gave, based on what we know, that seems to be directing towards the fact that they had a story in mind that they wanted to tell. And for that story, they had certain people who were going to be in the game for that. And based on that, the diversity that people are trying to force upon that would not have necessarily aligned with the narrative story go for, which I perfectly understand. At the end of the day, video games are a form of art, and when it comes to art, it is down to the person who is expressing it to express it how they wish, and then for us who are consuming it, it's down for us to consume it how we wish. But ultimately, there will most likely always be some kind of disconnect when it comes down to the way people express their art and the way people interpret that. But currently, as we can see, Naoki Yoshida is currently in trouble on Twitter with a lot of different people who are now accusing him of potentially being, well, you know what I'm probably going to say. But there are also people who are coming to his defense, basically stating the things that I've also said, which is the fact that, again, it's a form of art. Let people express it how they wish. And also the fact that he is not a native English speaker, so also the way he can describe things might not come out the exact way that he might have intended it to. And then third, at the end of the day, it is a video game. Enjoy it for what it is, a narrative story that is being told. You are meant to enjoy the story for what it is in its own contained world. These video games don't always have to reflect everything that happens around us, because ultimately we play some video games for the sake of just experiencing something different. Now again, I will say, based on that response, it definitely does leave room for a lot of interpretation, especially due to the fact that they are stating that they're trying to base it on realism based on the region that they decided to select from. But ultimately, people who look back on history will definitely be the first to tell you that there were all kinds of different people who came from these different regions in Europe and in the UK. There were people of Asian descent, of African descent, who lived within those regions. So stating that you're trying to base it solely on realism definitely comes off a little, to say the least. But that is it that we currently know about this story. Ultimately, I do believe that this is most likely just going to end up blowing into smoke, and people are most likely going to move on from this very quickly. I know a lot of people right now are trying to raise outrage because of his answer, but I hope that they're able to consider the fact that, again, this is someone who is not a native English speaker, and this is not the first time that we have seen a case where a Japanese developer gave a description that ultimately wasn't necessarily what they were trying to convey. But Final Fantasy 16 will be out sometime next year. I'm excited for the game because it actually looks pretty damn fun. Again, this one seems to take a lot more of the action combat that we had in Final Fantasy 15 and dial it by like 100. So I'm looking forward to the game when it does drop later on in 2023. Let me know what you guys think about this very interesting controversy that popped up in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, feel free to hit that like button and make sure you're subbed to the channel if you do want to catch every other video that we make, and turn on that notification bell as well. But that is it from me, everyone. I hope you have a good one, and see you guys later. Peace.